Samay is preparing grob opening.
हेलो वेलकम एवरीवन. बिस्वा, what is ग्रॉप ओपनिंग? ये कहाँ से वो न्यूज़ मिला that समय is play?
पता नहीं पता नहीं कहीं से पब्लिक ढूंढ के लाया कि Samay is preparing grob opening, G4 opening.
I believe that yesterday I made a trap video on that. I have a daily trap
Yes,
video. So I
I'll
made a
see it.
G4 one. So maybe he's started playing because of that, or was it because he was playing beforehand?
Don't know.
Don't know
I'll tell you what all is playing. My spies have told me.
what all he's playing.
He's playing G4 D5. That is a grob opening.
Okay.
He's playing King's Gambit English and Sicilian with black, and maybe he's also playing.
But English and Sicilian, he was already his
Yeah,
main
yeah, yeah.
opening.
Yeah. I think I knew something else he was playing, but I don't know exactly.
Some things we should know and not reveal.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Welcome to everyone. This is a very high level, like world championship. You know, when Carlson and Anand are playing, Carlson is thinking, what is Anand preparing? And
हम ये
also,
सब करेंगे और आखिर में मैच में जाके क्वीन ब्लंडर.
but I believe that as he said, he was playing on leeches, and so there is a secret account. Today, someone maybe found that secret account, whatever it is.
Yes, I'll tell you the secret account also. I think he has revealed it by this thing only. मैं समय हूँ is a secret account.
Acha. 4 O's with 4 O's. He has also an email ID with that. So I have made mistakes before. Arshab Agarwal says, Happy Choti Diwali, Sagar and Biswa. May this Diwali bring immense prosperity in your life. Thank you, Arshab.
Thank you.
Biswa, any Diwali plans for you? Or Diwali is normal?
Yeah, just chill here in Bombay with friends.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. Nothing like Patake Fotne ka or something.
No, I don't follow for that.
Okay. Yeah, same here, same here. So, Biswa, is there anything specific you would like to do? I know you have two games which we have to look at some point in this. I have a small test for you, and then
Okay.
I have a opening training for you, which we are going to look at one opening from white side, and then
Cool.
we'll play one game.
Cool.
It's kind of an intense thing, but we have to pack it up. Anything that you would like to, or this plan is good?
This plan is good. Let's go with it.
Okay, let's go. So the test is for 30 minutes, not
Okay.
for 5 minutes. So it's a 30-minute test, as you can see on the screen. And you have to solve 10 positions. And the
Cool.
positions are middle game, end game, everything here. It could be mate, it's basically best move. Okay. And if you score 10, you have a bonus one 11. If you solve 11, it's amazing. But we'll see how much you can manage. Ready?
Okay.
Okay, let's go. 1 second. Let me just get it on the screen. And guys, in the chat as well, you also can solve along with Biswa and try to see if you can match this. It's a very interesting training, and these are all well-known positions. And I will decide whether Biswa will get a full point for his answers or not. And Biswa, whatever you say is your answer, will be your answer. So you can talk out and you can analyze and all, but when you say this is my answer, then we fix it. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. So let's begin. Let's start with the timer. And there we go. The first position is on your screen here, white to play.
Okay, just checking first to go to checks. Rook d8 check, king takes, promotes, and then rook takes. So that's no good. Now we have to think of another way to promote that pawn. Uh, okay. And our king is trapped here. He can't go there. All right. Okay. So this seems like an option. If you play rook h8 and he takes the pawn, then we give a check and pick up his rook on a7. This idea actually works for f8, g8, and h8. Okay. Is there a flaw in this idea? The flaw is he will give us a check. Okay, rook h8, 8 to check, king f3, a3 check, king e4, a4 check, king d5, c5 check, sorry, a5 check, king, yeah, which was it there?
So, Biswa, just like a game, you have to keep balance between your speed and accuracy,
Yeah,
and you
it's
have to
rook
trust.
h8.
You have to trust yourself somewhere. Otherwise, you
Yeah,
were
rook h8 is fine.
rook h8. Very good. Is have you seen this position before ever?
No.
Very good. So found it on your own, and this is a very typical trap in the end game because if he takes the pawn,
Give check to take his rook.
yes. Otherwise, next move you queen, and you then checkmate him with a rook.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. 1 out of 1 for Biswa. That's a great start. And to not know the position and yet find it is very commendable. Let's go to the next position. This one is white to play. Very famous position, this one. But I'm sure you have not seen it.
Okay, so obviously the mate doesn't work because the bishop takes it. Um, okay, let's see the other check that is there. Knight h6 check. Uh, he can't take. He has to go to h8. Now, he has to go to h8. Now, do we give a check? If we give a check, then he takes our knight, and that's it. So we can't give that check. If we do queen g8, he just takes our queen with his bishop. So we can't even do that. Okay. So this idea is not working. Of h knight h6 check. Okay, that is not working. However, if I time to see, is there any other continuation? Okay, knight h6, king goes to h8. Is there any other continuation? I think if I don't give him a check, he'll pick up my queen. So that's a problem. All right. Okay. Let's start with captures. If if queen takes bishop, then queen takes bishop, and I don't have anything. If queen takes on g7, then yeah, I don't have anything. Okay, let's go to threats. Uh, if rook d7, then no. Rook d7, then queen takes, bishop. f6.
Whenever you look at a move for your opponent, first always try to look at counter attacking moves, then defensive. Because
Yeah, if I rook d7, then he takes my queen.
yes, queen. No, that is one there, and also rook d7, queen takes d7, queen takes e5. Also, there is a counter attacking move rather than f6.
Uh, can't find it.
The back rank issues, yeah.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So
Okay,
whenever
okay.
you look at a move for yourself, opponent's move should be first counter attacking.
Got it. Okay, so all this is not seeming to work. This rook d7 is not strong enough. There is one more check I had missed, which is knight e7 check. Queen takes. I have nothing. It's very odd position. Knight e7 check. Queen takes. Nothing. But rook d7 takes my queen. I give a check. King goes there. I pick up his queen. No, what about f4? f4, bishop goes to f6. This bishop is the problem.
I like how you are considering so many moves with checks, captures, and threats. One of them is right somehow, but you need to find that one. Not easy, but at least the base of your consideration has grown. F4, rook d7, knight h6, knight e7, queen g7. You looked at all, queen takes e5. You looked at everything.
Okay, I think I have to go deeper into knight h6. That looks like the possible most promising one. Knight h6, king h8. Uh, if I can just achieve that, that would be great. Yes. Knight h6, king h8, queen takes bishop, uh, queen takes queen, rook to d8, rook takes on d8. Arey, yaar, I'm losing. No, I'm not. Am I losing? I'm losing. No, 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 I'm not losing. Knight to f7 check first. Um, king comes to g8. Knight takes queen, and we are better. Knight h6 check.
Loved the way you solved it without any hints. Loved it. Amazing. Amazing. Knight h6 check, king h8, and now first take the queen. Yeah, you first saw this, but it's not working so well. But the move order is very important. You take, queen is hanging, has to take. Now take, he must take it, otherwise he'll be pieced down, and the moment he takes it is a back rank checkmate.
Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let's go to the next one, guys. This was really a well solved position by Biswa. It is never easy to figure out where was the right way to go, so he did that. Okay, black to play here. Let me flip the board so you can see black to play. How does black?
Okay, starting with the usual check. Uh, what all checks are there? Queen f2 check. Then king takes, rook takes, king takes, and we have nothing. So that is out. Queen takes on b1 is there, or just okay. Queen takes on b1. Let's go. Queen takes on b1. Rook takes, and we don't have anything. Okay, so that's why what you should do is rook takes a1 first. He takes queen b2. He'll just go to f1 and everything is protected. We didn't gain anything. Mm, okay. If I play, oh, okay. There is the other rook. Our rook has to come out at some opportune moment. Uh, the f rook. Okay, fine. So queen takes on b1. Rook takes. Uh, rook to b8. Queen d1.
Always first look at counter-attacking options for opponent, then defensive.
He'll just take its mate. Okay. Uh, then rook shouldn't go there. Where the rook should go is okay. I think I'm close to solving it. Actually, first rook takes on uh, of then the other rook just goes inside. No? So that one move we have to find out how to do it. If a rook takes on a1, rook takes on a1. Uh, now, uh, what about you start with the first rook to e8? Rook to e8. He cannot do rook b8 because if we take the a1 rook, it's mate. He can't. We're threatening mate on e1. Is it? Are we threatening it? We're not threatening it because if we go, he takes, and that's it's over. So we have to go to rook c8 actually. Rook c8. Now he has to bring his. Now are you threatening mate? He takes. We take his mate. Can't take. He has to come to the rook c1. I take, he take, I take, he take is fine. Okay. Rook c8 looks very promising. Let's see what is the flaw in rook c8. Rook c8. Then he will, if he plays rook c8, what can he play? He will just plain and simple might play h3. If he plays h3, Then no back rank needed here. What is this? So that cannot be the move. Okay. Done. Queen takes on b1. Rook takes. Okay. No, if rook to c8, we have to win material somehow after that. Rook c8. Uh, he plays h3. One second, I have to pick a call.
As you see, how this entire thing is not so simple for Biswaya to solve because uh, he's not able to spot that winning move. But what I like is the process, the thought process behind all of this.
Okay. What about rook a8 is interesting. Rook a8, but h3 ka kya? Oh, okay. If he does h3, then
Whenever opponent makes a move, look at
counter attacks.
rook a8,
Yeah,
h3
rook a8.
is defensive move. What
Yeah, rook a8. He takes with his queen, and then I take, and it's back rank mate. You can't allow him to play h3. Then it's all over. So it has to be captures. I don't know how to.
good, good, all good points you are making. Just you have to find them.
Okay, there are only two options actually. Queen b1 and rook a1. I have to make one of these work. Queen b1, rook takes, uh, and it does not. What is there? Queen b1, rook takes, doesn't work. Okay, rook a1, rook takes. How to make this work?
What are you thinking?
Hold on. There's queen b2, and he can't take anything because whatever it takes, it's back rank mate. So queen b2. If he plays h3, that's the only problem now. Queen takes on a1, rook takes, and rook takes. What did you gain? Nothing. Then rook takes on a1 after h3. Rook takes, and then queen takes. Okay, queen b2 is the move.
And this time you haven't looked at one more defensive idea for white after queen b2.
Queen b2.
Rook a1 is hanging, right? So if he defends that.
Sorry, rook a1. Where is hanging?
After queen b2, your rook on a1 is hanging. So if he tries to defend it somehow,
That's back rank mate. Oh,
somehow,
he can.
how can he defend it more?
He can bring his queen to a3,
Queen
but
a3, rook a3.
yeah, what can he do? I don't think I don't know.
Your move is correct. Your move is correct.
Okay, yes,
Fantastic.
just give me. We'll do later.
Okay. Just to show you, there is this one defense. Sorry, not rook d1. Rook d1 means rook a1, but queen d1. What's your move?
Yeah, uh, just queen takes on f2 and mates there.
Did you see it?
No, but I you know.
Well done, well done. But you found it. That is very good. And the entire process, the struggle with which you are finding it is amazing, admirable. White to play. You can speed up. Maybe some positions are not so tough. White to play. White pawn is about to queen, but it's pinned.
Okay, so basically, uh, uh, we have to give a check in such a way that the pin is taken away, so we can start. Okay, okay, it's quite amazing actually. Queen g1 check, queen takes, and then we promote and take his other queen.
Speed OP, great speed, and you found it very nice. This was a check. Sacrifice the queen first. कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है. It takes and you make a queen. Well done, and you win the queen again. Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's go to the fifth position now. Biswa speeding up. Let's see if this one may be tricky, maybe not. You can never say. Black to play here.
Okay, why does the mate not work? Because the h4 pawn is protected, unprotected when we push g4. Okay, fine. So, what are the other checks available in the position? We can give. Okay, that's an idea. Rook f3 check, pawn takes, but that creates an escape square for the king. So I'm not very sure about that. I think how we have to do it is very simple actually. We just do g4, king takes on h4, rook to h6 check, king goes to uh, g3, uh, f4 check. Okay, this have to just make it work. That's the main thing. Can he go? Yes, he can. So what we'll have to do is g4 check seems like the most promising move. Let's just start with that. G4 check, king takes. Now rook h6 check is good. Rook h6 check and king goes to g3. Maybe here some trick is there. Okay, now we give f4 check, king goes where? If you give f4 check, king goes to g4. No, g4 to the pawn. Yeah, king takes on g4 basically. Uh, and now this the other rook is not able to get made. Let me calculate the war. I think this is easy only. Um, g4, king takes on h4, rook h6 check, king goes to g3, pawn to f4 check, king takes on g4. Maybe the pawn check is not a good idea. Maybe there's another check somewhere. Uh, Goes there. Maybe rook takes on h3 check, pawn takes, rook f3 check. This might be a better idea. Okay. Sorry. g4 check, king takes on h4, rook h6, king goes to g3, rook rook h3 check, pawn takes. The other rook has to give a check and finish it now. The other rook can give g1 check, in which case the king has f2 to escape. If the other rook gives f3 check, then the king goes to g2. It's very this thing. And now bishop f1 check. This is very complicated. And the king goes to g1. Maybe all this is wrong. Maybe the simple move is rook f3 check, pawn takes, and bishop f1 mate. That's the solution. Rook f3.
Check if your variation has any flaw.
Rook f3, pawn takes is the only move, right? What else can you do? Oh man, his rook can come in between and it's not mate. So annoying. Okay, let rook come in between. We will do g4 check and mate him here, I think. No. But this is the right idea, I know it. Rook f3 check, pawn takes, bishop f1 check, rook g2. So irritating. G4 check, takes on h4, rook h6 check, goes back to g3. Now rook h3 is mate.
So half an hour is up.
Yeah, this is but the first move is rook f3 check.
I'll give you half point.
It is true.
It's not the first move, but it is the right idea. But the thing is, what you are doing today is very admirable. That you are first finding a move, then a flaw, then fixing it, and you are doing it very accurately. That is very good. The thing is, you found a flaw with rook f3. You need to fix it faster.
Okay, let's start with. I'll just finish this and then we're done with this. G4 check. King takes on Baba, how do we fix it? I think we have to start with g4 check. King takes on h4. Uh, Rook h6. Uh, king king goes to g3. Now, uh, now we give. No, that's a dumb check now. Instead of that, I think rook h3 is the right move here. Rook h3, pawn takes. Uh, Rook f3 check goes to. It's I can't figure it out. If rook f3 is not. Oh, can't.
You are there, you are
Sorry.
there, you are there, you are there.
Okay,
You are
I think g4 check.
G4 is
Okay,
not
let's.
the right move, but
What is the right move then?
should I show you and then you can try to think
No.
why you did not get it.
Okay.
Okay. So firstly, you saw rook f3 takes and this, and you saw that the rook is coming in between. So the first thing that should strike your mind is that if I can deflect the rook from the second rank, because if the rook is not here, then my entire plan works.
The other rook takes the knight first.
Yes, and it's over.
Ah.
So
Ah.
it's there. It's right there. You almost
Yeah.
got it. In fact,
Yeah.
the first move which you considered even before getting sort of into the forest with g4 was rook f3. But you said after gf3 nothing is happening. So again, this is where you needed to go a little deeper. But sometimes going deeper in wrong line can be a mistake. Here it was the right thing to go deeper. So it's tricky. I wouldn't say that you didn't find it or something. But here, taking on d6 first, take, and then rook f3 is a very pretty checkmate. Now the king is victor. The reason why I would not consider g4 so seriously is because after take check, you not only have g3 which you are continuously looking at, but also g5. Both moves are possible, and then I don't see a mate any in either of the cases.
It just felt like if I keep calculating long enough, there'll be a mate. But there isn't.
Okay, so there are 5 more left. Maybe we can come to it later in the day,
We can do it tomorrow also.
in the session. It's possible, but definitely solving such tactics will speed up. And what I really liked, and also I would like to tell the viewers, is that Biswa was whatever he was calculating made sense. Like he was not saying wrong. Like when you looked at the last position move, Rook C8 in this position, for example, just to make this point clear.
These are tough puzzles, but
These
very
are
nice
these
ones.
are how can you say tough, but only a one critical move is tough. Then you get it,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
multiple critical. So
Yeah.
here,
It's not like it's the thing is it's not checks captures threats calculation. There is more to these puzzles, like a
right,
little bit more.
little more imagination. Like here, what I am impressed. Not that you found Queen B2. This, if you would have found on the first instance, that's good. But what I liked is you considered Rook C8, which is a natural move to look at because you are threatening to take, and then give a check. Oh, it's still not a checkmate because he can always block with Queen D1. But still, you came to this defense H3, saying that nothing is happening. So this entire thing which you are doing is on the right track. Now only speed is missing.
Got it.
So the speed can come in with practice. Okay, so today you will be playing a game around 2:15, Biswa, and I want to show you a game in the Caro Kann. Basically, what happens is that in
One
the
second, I'll just be back. I need water.
yeah, sure. So what we are going to do now, guys, is Everyone is saying that YouTube is not giving notification. Yeah. That is worrying. Because a lot of people say they didn't get the notification and they came in after some time. And this has been happening for some time. By the way, all those who are saying that COB3 scripted or something, the chess playing part definitely is going to be a big fight. No one is going to script with chess. That is for sure. I can guarantee. If it is there, if that is going to happen, then I'll stay away from it.
What happened?
No, everyone's saying COB3 chess part should not be scripted. I said if chess part will be scripted, then it'll be away.
Guys, why chess part will be scripted? Even if we scripted, we won't be able to follow it, guys. We can't remember moves, so don't worry.
Not in that sense. Scripted means, oh, this guy will beat this guy or something of that sort.
How is that possible? You'll have to like remember how to win. Even if you go with the script, we'll blunder something, so it's not going to happen. Also, why script it?
Yeah, why would they script? Absolutely. Okay, so E4.
By the way, COB3 is scripted, guys. I am writing the script. Okay, let's see.
So if C6, you go D4, D5, ED, this is what you play, CD. And I want you to put your bishop on D3. Okay, this is what we discussed last time. Black will play his knight to C6 and you play C3. Okay, defending the pawn on D4.
Okay.
Now, black goes knight to F6. And here, the move that I want you to play is in the spirit of the London system. So what would be the move?
Knight D2.
No. London system ka knight bishop kabhi C1
Bishop F4, sorry. Bishop F4.
Yeah, absolutely. Bishop F4, very nice move. Taking control of the diagonal. Now, black goes bishop to G4. As I had mentioned before, if black goes E6 here and shuts down his bishop on C8, it's a victory for you because the bishop is passive. Although position remains solid, it is passive. You can go knight F3, knight D2, castles and so on. So he played bishop to G4. Now what do? I'm giving you three options, okay? One is knight E2, the other is knight F3, the third is bishop E2, sorry, four options, bishop E2, and fourth is queen B3.
Queen B3.
Yes. Queen B3 is the right move. Other all moves are kind of normal, not bad. Bishop E2 is definitely bad because you are moving a developed piece again. But Queen B3 is a counter-attacking move, attacking the B7 pawn. Now, opponent has two ways to deal with this. One is Queen D7 and one is Queen C8. Okay, we will look at both options. Let's look at Queen C8 first. Now what do? Again, I'll give you a few options. Knight F3, Knight D2, Knight E2 or H3.
H3 doesn't make any sense. Knight D2 is kind of interesting because it's developing a piece. But where does that knight go now? Knight F3 also. Knight F3 is nice, but then we'll have double pawns after it extends the bishop. What is his idea? Why is he taking his queen there?
Okay. To defend the B7 pawn. No, that is the main thing.
Yeah, but also now he's pointing at H3. So, might not...
Ganguly game. But there the king was castled, so...
Yeah. If I take knight to E2, and then later knight to g3, I avoid the double pawn problem. If I develop knight to d2 now, that knight has nowhere to go. It will start. I will go with knight to e2.
Yeah, the right move here is knight d2. The reason being that you want to support your other knight coming to f3, so there is no double pawns, and eventually this knight will jump to e5. Whereas from e2, anyway, this knight has no other square. As you said, it's not very active here, but still it supports the knight coming out. Where else you can put this knight? Knight on a3 is also not so great square. So even knight d2.
Yeah, knight on a3 has no future because it's just can't go anywhere because of the pawns.
Not really. Knight on a3 has a future. First of all, it can go to b5, which is a threat to fork here. So black must go a6, and then knight c2 to e3.
Or like this, it can come. Okay, got it.
Yes. So knight a3 is not a bad move. Yeah, if you would have suggested that was also possible.
Or like this, it's nice. Got it.
Here knight d2 was played e6, and now white developed his knight to f3.
Knight f3.
Black played bishop e7, and here white castled, black also castled. So this is a position which you may get if you play this system with white, because it's the most natural. So now you need to come up with a idea what to do, because you have finished your development, your rooks are connected. You need to think of a way in which to continue.
Can we just go over this opening once again from the beginning?
Yes.
I was a little hassle in the beginning, so I didn't register. Okay, e4, sorry, starts with c6. Okay, d4, d5, takes. Okay, now I play bishop d3. Okay.
Now,
is this a normal way to play the Caro Kann, or is there an advanced variation also?
There is advanced variation with e5 here, which you used to play, but you said that you don't like it because...
Yeah, I hate it.
Why
do people play it? Can you please tell me?
It's very good actually, but it requires a lot of... it's like handling it carefully, because when you have space, you have weaknesses. That is the problem. So
okay, so the problem that happens with this is this is mind-boggling. That ultimately in every game I end up losing the two center pawns, and I end up putting so much effort into defending them that then I can't do anything else and I lose the game.
Exactly. So this is what is the problem with gaining space, is that when you gain space, you push pawns, right? So naturally, when you push pawns, you get space, but space also comes with the drawback of weaknesses, because every pawn push creates weakness, because it leaves squares undefended. So when you play a space gaining opening, it is much difficult than a normal exchange opening, because when you gain space, there are so many things you have to take care of. Now imagine in this position, if you remove black's many pieces, then black suddenly starts getting a good position, because with less space, he has less pieces to manage. So in a way, white should keep more pieces on the board. So that means when black comes to exchange, you have to kind of avoid it or exchange in a way that it ends up in your favor. So all these little things of exchanging, when to exchange, which piece to exchange, comes very critically in the advanced variation. That's why it's difficult right now to play.
Tell me one thing. What is the advantage of playing the advanced variation over the exchange variation?
You gain space. And the people who are advanced players, they are able to manage space advantage well. So at some point, you too will be able to manage space well. And you should start playing this, because this is definitely one of the best ways to react to Caro Kann.
Got it.
And you are right. The reason why you are not able to play this well is because at some point, you are losing your central pawns, because they come from here, they put your knight here, they push c5. You don't know what to do. You don't know whether to play c3. You don't know whether to take. So all these decision makings are difficult in advance. While when we play exchange variation, the position is simplified already.
But here black has already equalized.
Not really, not really. The reason being that it's white to move, and also it's still you can say in advanced variation there are more imbalances, but in exchange variation, white still has a small pool. Otherwise, I wouldn't have recommended it to you to play, because here is played by many GMs. In fact, if I just check in Mega database right now, I can see at least 45,000 games with this position.
Okay, okay.
So it's a very main line.
Got it.
So
Okay,
bishop
cool.
d3.
So the idea of bishop d3 is to stop his bishop from developing nicely.
Very good. So here this square is controlled by the bishop. This square is already taken by the queen. So he
Got it.
plays knight c6 because he sees this is a tempo gaining move, attacking the pawn.
So he plays c3 and that pawn is protected, although a knight's life is a little...
Yes, this is the knight gets a little depressed, but usually in such positions, even if you play, let's say, knight to c3, this knight will be unhappy because it doesn't have scope anyway, like with after pawn e6. So it has to reroute itself somewhere. This happens when you play exchange French and then you
Yes.
play your knight to c3. And I have mentioned that it's not often a good idea.
Got it.
Keeping pawns connected is better. Now he plays knight to f6, and what you do is you put your bishop to
f4.
bishop to f4. So usually it's said that develop knights before bishops, but here it's like you are developing your bishops before knights, because you don't want his pieces to take those important diagonals away from you. So you don't want his bishop at some point playing e6 and bishop d6. So you put your bishop here. Even if he plays bishop d6 at some point, this exchange is very favorable for you. Why?
Because my pawns are on dark square.
Exactly. You will be left with a much superior bishop than his bishop.
Yeah. 1 second, sorry. What if you plays e4 here, e5 here, e5?
Is it possible?
e5. What do I do? E takes. Knight takes.
No, he cannot take.
He loses a piece.
So e5 is premature. It doesn't come here. Bishop g4 comes in. Okay. So
Queen
now
b3.
bishop g4. He says, I want to play e6 and get my bishop out, but I don't want my bishop trapped in. So I'm putting it on g4. So you play queen to b3 with a gain of a tempo. Now he plays queen to c8 or queen to d7. Your way of playing is not going to change. What do you do?
Queen d2.
Sorry,
knight d2.
Yes. Knight to d2. He goes e6. What do you do?
Knight f3.
He goes bishop e7. What do you do?
Castle.
Very good. And he castles. So
Okay,
now you see.
Sorry, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Just go back a couple of moves. Instead of bringing out his bishop to g4, what if he just plays e6 here?
Sorry. Here instead of this e6, yeah?
Yeah.
Now I am very happy. I go knight f3.
Okay, so now I just finish my kingside development.
Now you don't even have to go with the queen, because as you will see in the game, what we are going to see, queen from b3 does come back because it wants to attack on the king side. So here it's already doesn't have to waste time going here, then coming back and so on. So knight f3 is a very solid move. Let's imagine he goes bishop d6. You can take, queen takes, and you can castle. He castles. You can play knight b d2. And this is quite a nice position for you for one simple reason, that his bishop is here. If his bishop was here, maybe it's already okay for black, but the bishop is quite passive.
Got it.
So here, this is a semi-open file, so a natural plan can be rook e1, queen e2, knight goes to e5, or rook e1, knight e5, rook comes up, swings over with the bishop and the rook, you launch an attack. So it's a very typical way of attacking. Half open files always give a chance for the rook to lift itself up. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the game, now you have to come up with a plan, and here white came up with a very interesting move, which was to play knight to e5. Okay, white is saying, I want to take your bishop. Do you have any questions, by the way?
No, I'm good.
Hmm.
So for what happens if knight takes knight?
If he takes with the knight, what will you take back with? You have two options here.
I'll take back with the bishop, obviously.
Why?
Because if there is a good square, give it to a piece. White, give it a pawn. It will become an isolated pawn. Yeah,
Uh,
we gain one tempo on the knight, but then
it's not isolated because you have an f2 pawn, which can later go and defend it. So it could also become a space gaining pawn. If there was no f2 pawn, I would be more apprehensive playing d takes e5.
okay.
So here, I would prefer taking with the pawn for two reasons. One is that you gain space. Secondly, when the knight moves away, the black king starts feeling the heat somehow. So for example, after knight d7, I would just go back with my queen to c2, creating a threat on h7 to take the pawn. He
I
may
feel
have
like
to defend it. Yes.
I feel like this is what happened in the game.
He didn't take. He didn't take.
Okay.
H6. And now what happens is this bishop suddenly feels a little left out. And black's position is slightly, how do you put it? It's not very cohesive. It's not harmonious. So he's threatening knight c5. I can play knight b3, stopping it. And later I can hassle this bishop with h3, g4. You know, there are all these possibilities. Because I have a pawn here, it's not so easy to attack the pawn, by the way. Because I can always get my rook a to e1. The reason why I'm keeping my rook f here, because I'm seeing that later I'll have to push the pawn to f4.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So here knight takes e5 is definitely not a great move. So he played the move bishop h5 because he didn't want to give up his bishop. Okay.
Okay.
Now white played the move queen c2. So what white did is white said, look, I'm putting pressure here and you cannot even now take my knight because I'll take with the pawn and then I'll pick up the h7 pawn. So all this pressure led to black saying, I'll play bishop g6. Now what do you do?
What if just knight takes bishop? Then what happens?
Wait,
Knight takes bishop. F takes on g6.
is f better or h? Here there is a clear cut better of the two moves.
Okay, let's
What?
calculate F feels better because rook gets open, but there might be a problem. Takes now if just bishop takes and then the other pawn takes and queen goes there. Queen goes to g6. It's the big threat. Again, we can do this with if it takes with the other pawn also. So that's not.
Yeah. No, taking on g6 is not the best idea.
Okay, in that case.
Tell me what did black spoil in his position after taking with the f pawn? Akshay Mohan says it well here in the chat. He says after f takes g6, one pawn is crying now for the entire game.
Oh, that e6 pawn is now weak.
Very weak. Very weak. In fact, if it's on a half open file, so your plan is very simple. If you see a weak pawn on a half open file, what do?
Rook e1.
And then
Take it.
the queen is there. So you gang up on it with rook
Yeah,
e1,
rook
rook
e2,
e2 and
yeah.
rook e1.
Yeah.
And एक purpose मिल जाता है easily.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
better move is to play hg6, which happened in the game. So now white said, I'm going to bring my knight into the game. Knight f3. Black said, okay, I'll play queen d7 in this position. And now queen came to e2. You will see the beautiful way in which white launches the attack here. So first of all, white has the bishop pair, but black's position is very solid. So now after rook f8, I want you to come up with some interesting plan. Plan means how to continue here.
Okay. Uh, Knight e5 looks like a natural move. And there is another interesting. We have to. It's a slow plan, but the h file is open, so we can try and invade from there, starting with h4, h5.
Very likely this h4, h5 slowly.
Yeah.
In such structures, always remember that this is doubled, but if you can go like g3, h4, king g2, rook h1 and h5, it works. Many times it works. Maybe here not, but it's a plan. Okay. Any other plan?
There is one more interesting plan. Is knight g5, queen f3, and now same idea using the h file for our benefit.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Biswa, knight g5 and getting from queen to f3 to h3. The moment this knight moves, it can be a checkmate down there. Very interesting plan. Any other plan that comes to mind?
Uh, there is one more plan. It's very slow, but uh, it's very slow. It won't work.
Tell.
It's rook a e1, then it goes to e3, and then it comes to h3. It's similar, but I feel it's too slow. So not that. There is another idea with just thinking about one thing, which is knight h4 we start with, and then our plan is to sacrifice the knight on g6.
ये सैक वाला जब आता है ना, that time you guys are very you become not chess players, you become like
Gamblers.
wishful thinkers, gamblers. You are like, ये मारूंगा, bishop आएगा, then my queen will come to h file and I will checkmate him. You take like unlimited moves for yourself when you sacrifice, which doesn't work always. Here it's knight h4 and take on g6 doesn't work. It's just one move, bishop f8 means his king side is safe.
Okay, there is one more idea. There is one more idea. Hold on.
Guys, you can actually feel that Biswa is creative, because see, in such a position he's come up with so many ideas, maybe good or bad, but already there are many ideas.
Okay, brother, I have an idea. Rook a1, bishop takes on g6, queen takes on e6, queen takes, rook takes on e6.
And what did you get with that? You got how many pawns?
I got 2 pawns.
2 pawns for one piece, and queens also off the board with no real threats.
Yes, true.
Doesn't look great. By the way, Biswa, one of your plans was executed in the game, and you will be surprised that the plan which you said is very slow was what happened. So
what
he played rook a d1.
Okay.
And look how he does it. a6. And actually your plan rook a e1 is also very good, but then the queen is in the way. So maybe I would have started rook a e1 plan now instead of queen e2, with the same idea of knight e5, rook e3 and rook h3. So once he chose queen e2, then he went for the other plan. So that means both plans can be tried out, whichever one you like.
Got it.
Queen e2, rook f8, he played rook d1, a6, and now comes the move bishop c2. It's very difficult to understand, but now it's very simple, because you know he's going ahead with your plan. Bishop d6, he took, queen takes, and what is the move now for white?
Just rook d3.
Rook d3 is possible, but rook d3 many times, you know, he can quickly jump in with knight e4 because the bishop is blocked for a second. So first, white played.
Sorry, knight g5.
he kept his knight actually in a more aggressive position on e5.
But it'll get exchanged, and you want to
No,
attack
you
while
can't
exchanging.
exchange. See, it's all timing.
Oh,
It's all timing. And the other thing is, if you go back and let's say I play f4 now, then now exchanging is bad because suddenly my f file opens up.
interesting.
So it's all a question of timing
Interesting.
here. Also, on the other hand, even if it doesn't win a piece, let's say I play something like rook d3, you take and I take. This is dangerous for black because his main defender knight is being kicked away from his king. His king starts getting all the more weak.
Got
So
it.
yes, you exchange the piece, but his defender is also thrown away.
Got it.
So in the game knight e5, he played b5. Now came the move f4. Very good move because it cements the knight on e5. Rook c8, and now came the move rook to d3. You can see how the attack is building up slowly. Here he played the move b4, and this is black's typical idea. It's called dash attack.
Minority attack.
Very nice, you remember it. Good. b4,
Never
and
used in my life.
but this is how in this structure always it comes. This is known as the Carlsbad structure. It's reversed. I've taught you from the black side. Usually I say white plays b4 b5. Here it's black doing it with b5 b4. So now rook jump to h3, b takes c3, and now how will you recapture on c3 with the pawn or with the rook?
With the pawn, because that blocks the square b4 for the knight.
Yes, very good. So should I take with the pawn?
Yes.
Okay. This is a horrible move. This is
What?
the reason why you are going to not be why you are not being improving from 1500 rating now. You have to look at tactics in the position. I am tricking you. I am asking pawn se maru rook se. White to play.
Okay, if you take with the pawn, uh,
No, white to move here. With if you take with the pawn or the rook, nahi, koi aur move ढूंढो.
oh, you are. Oh, that's we don't even have to recapture. Tell like this. No.
I told you, should I recapture now? You are like, yes, brother, do it.
Are just rook h8 and poke the king and the queen. What?
Absolutely. That's how you have to be alert, very alert. He took on c3, rook h8, takes knight f7, and
Resign.
resigned the game. So, it's a beautiful example of this opening. And ready to try it out in practice?
Yes.
Yes?
Oh,
So,
bye. Okay.
what
No,
happened?
I'll have to try it like right now. Let's try it.
Yeah, it's like you try it, and then when you make a mistake or something, we'll learn from it faster.
Cool.
Okay, so your opponent is has to play with black. There must be some ID. I have found someone to play who is a Caro Kann player. So you can play e4 with him, and you can go to that comedian's room.
Okay, who is this mystery player?
I thought I'll wait, ask someone because I'm also a Caro Kann player, so I know some people who are Caro Kann.
Who is this mystery player, brother?
I it's some normal player, not Leela, not Leela.
Imadhar 90.
Simandar, yeah. Some 1 second.
He's 2148.
Yeah, don't go by rating as we already know. There were players who had been stronger by rating than you, but you have beaten them. So
Shall I send him a request?
yes, 10 plus 0. And if you get black, then abort the game and rematch so that you get white. Or resign the game and rematch. Something.
Sagar, you are Simandhar.
No, I'm not. I will not. I will do this like Vidit or I'm not here to trick you, Biswa.
Okay, cool. Sending a request. 10 plus 0. And how do I make sure I'm white?
Just play, start the game. If you are not white, then abort it and rematch.
Okay, the game has started. I'm white.
Oh,
Okay,
you got white?
yes.
Okay. You can.
Okay, he's playing Caro Kann.
Of
Okay,
course,
bye.
he
Okay,
knew
bye.
he knew that you have to play.
Bye.
So guys, Biswa has opened his game with 1 e4 here. Opponent has played the Caro Kann. Biswa now plays d4, d5. He takes, c takes, bishop d3. Whatever we learned, we apply it immediately. And then we learn. If he loses, we learn. If he wins, bishop f4, bishop to g4. Black is playing very quickly and Biswa also knows his openings. We looked at queen c8. We have to still look at queen d7, but I believe Biswa will navigate his way through the complications. Well done. Knight d2, e6. Now knight to f3. Yes, let's go. Bishop to d6 now. Takes. Biswa is happy because he knows that exchanging that bishop was to his favor. And Biswa is thinking, can I capture the pawn on b7? Wow, it's an interesting question. Because now he can even castle here, but he can even play, he can castle in this position, or he can take on b7. Both moves look interesting. He castled in the game. Biswa was like, opening my pawn lena is not a good idea, which is correct. Taking the pawn is not good. And now he castled. Again, taking the pawn means rook b8 and takes on b2. So he should just continue with the same idea that we have learnt, which is bring the queen to c2 or rook to ae1 and then put your knight on e5. This is how white should continue. He played rook fe1. Now guys, look why rook fe1 is not as good as rook ae1. The reason is, oh, he took on f3. Okay, we'll take back with the knight, of course. The reason why playing the other rook to e1 is not good, is better, is because later on you want to put your knight on e5 and push f4. And then your rook on f1 is more active than the rook on e1. Queen c7, okay. And now Biswa can come back to c2, or he can put his knight on e5. Yes, very good. Very interesting chess. Very interesting. Oh, he takes. Okay. Pawn takes. Knight to d7. So e5 pawn is attacked. And Biswa is like, what should I do now? Because if he doesn't defend, then knight takes e5 make up. But guys, queen c2 is a good move here, I guess. Oh, he played f4, but now knight c5 and he exchanges. So what happened is what Biswa had feared. You gain space, but you have no firepower. Once you have no firepower, gaining space means you are left with weaknesses. Yes, queen c2 was better. I feel so. Instead of f4, if Biswa would have gone queen c2, then h7 was attacked, and let's say he goes h6. Now saving this means that knight c5 doesn't win this bishop immediately. Although black should be comfortable here as well. So f4, and now black is thinking for his move, what to play. Any guesses, guys? Who's the black player? Any guesses? We'll be having him on stream after the game is done. I don't know what black is thinking here. Maybe black is thinking, should he play queen b6 and go into an endgame, or knight c5? Oh, he plays queen b6. He's like, Biswa, you have space, but I'm going to take it out. Samay, Amruta, Swapnil, Vaibhav, Joel, Vidit. We'll figure out. We'll figure out. But guys, some of you are very smart. Yeah, you're very smart. Knight takes now. Should we take with the pawn or the knight? I would say taking with the knight maybe keeps the structure intact, but taking with the pawn opens up the a file. Every decision in chess has an upside and a downside. Look at this. He takes with the pawn. He takes with the pawn. He's like, okay, rook e3. Knight to c5. But now you can just save your bishop. Yeah, bishop c2. I think what Biswa is still thinking is of a kingside attack with rook e3. That's not going to work now, Biswa. It's not. It's no longer middle game. Queens are gone from the board. Very good. Knight b3 is a big threat now. Knight b3. Because knight b3 means rook will be hanging. And if you move the rook, a2 will be hanging. So the right move is to play bishop c2. Well done, Biswa. Well done. Well played. Very nice. g6. Stopping f5 ideas by white. So now let's see how Biswa continues, because it's already very difficult to understand how to play these positions. b4. b4 is how many of you think b4 is a good move here in the chat? How many of you think b4 is a good move? Knight a4. Opponent is playing very fast. Yeah. Also, Biswa is playing pretty good today, handling his time well. Knight is comes to a4. Yes, bad move, okay move, no, good move. No, not good. The thing is, when you push a pawn, guys, remember this. Whenever you push a pawn, you create weaknesses in your position. And here, after pushing b4, what has happened is that the c3 pawn has become backward and weak because there is no pawn to defend it. So Biswa has actually got his now pieces to defend c3, but he missed that black can play d4, and when the rook moves, he cannot take this pawn, because if he takes the pawn, rook takes c2 would be hanging. So in effect, he has lost a pawn here. d4 is a very strong move, and now c3 pawn is hanging, can take with the knight, because if you take with the knight, the d4 pawn is not possible to take because of knight e2 fork, and you lose the rook. So knight takes is already good. Also pawn takes looks good. Could he have gone queen c1 and targeted h2 pawn? Chandramouli, I think what you're saying is, could he have gone queen c2 and targeted the h7 pawn? Yes, he should have. I believe he should have. Whatever has happened in the game here, I would say Biswa has fought well already. Because when you will get to know who he is playing, you will also agree with. Why not? Bishop takes a4 was one question by someone here. The problem is if you take on a4, then he will take on e3 first. It's called intermediate move. So therefore he had to move the rook and there was no time. All timing has been perfect for black. Now Biswa thinking hard, but already it's tough what to do next. Played knight e2 check. But what after? Oh, he wants to come knight c1. Maybe. King f2 is looking good. It's getting very complex. Knight c1, but can we take on d4 now? Maybe taking on d4 makes sense, but he will take on b3 and then rook c2. Oh, rook d2. Why rook d2? Why not? Why not? Rook takes d4. Am I missing something? Maybe knight b3, ab3, rook a2 check. Yeah, but it was definitely worth trying. I felt rook takes d4. No, like for example, here rook takes here. Maybe check, and I put my king here. Yeah, it looks bad. The both the rooks come here. There's no way to defend g2. So yeah, didn't look great. Now Biswa played rook d2, and opponent is still thinking what to do. It's a interesting move by Biswa, not giving his opponent the seventh rank. Fighting hard, and the pawn comes forward. Black is also fighting hard. How should Biswa get out of this bind? You know, his opponent has pushed his pawn to d3. What I like is how Biswa is fighting. He's very, very focused, trying to figure out a way. Yeah, the knight cannot move because the pawn hangs, but even the rook cannot move because then the pawn may come forward. So, it's like all pieces are sort of jammed in for now. We'll see who comes out on top. H4. Biswa said, I am not able to move my pieces that side on the center and the queen side. So let me push the pawn. And black jumps in with the rook. People are saying it's not Amruta, looks like someone else. I also think so because Amruta doesn't play so positional. She loves to attack. Rook c3. And Biswa is down to 1 minute 30 seconds. He comes up with his king. Looks interesting. The question is, nothing really is hanging as of now. Oh, he takes on b3 already. Okay. Now, so here Biswa has to take a b3. Rook d8. Ah, smart move. King e4. Nice, nice. But now rook takes b3. Yeah. And take on b4. So black is now 2 pawns up. But could there be some defensive chances still? And now you see all pieces are exchanged and we go into a pawn endgame where black's king rounds up all the pawns. There is no time now for and black saves all his pawns and now pushes the pawn forward. And Biswa
All right.
resigns. Biswa, how was the game?
Very good, but
Did you find your opponent was strong player?
he was like me only.
He was like you only.
Yeah.
Pretty equal strength.
But slightly stronger, slightly stronger. He was faster mostly.
Yeah, yeah. So
Who was the opponent?
I had asked people who is the opponent here, and I'm going to invite him in the call here right now.
Hi Sagar. Hi
Hello,
Biswa.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very
Biswa. Do you know him?
Yeah, he's a very strong chess player.
He's the GM. He's Grandmaster Swapnil Dopade.
Yeah. Why are you playing with me, brother? I quit.
Is he going to come back? Yeah.
Two good things here. First of all,
I
Biswa.
think he's like me only.
But Swapnil, how did Biswa play according to you?
Yeah, he played well. And actually, there was a moment when I had a choice whether to exchange queens with queen b6 check or I should play knight c5, right?
Yeah, I want to show that. Yes.
Yeah, and I thought a lot at that moment because I saw the stream just before playing Viswa, and I saw you was suggesting very attacking and very dangerous ideas. So I thought maybe I should exchange queens first. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Biswa, you just played against the biggest Caro Kann expert of India and also in the world. He's one of the best Caro Kann players, playing
Sagar.
since childhood on this opening. So and you gave away.
I'm just finding it funny. I was like, he's like me only. Little strong.
No, but that's if I had told you you are playing Swapnil, you would not have been so confident.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I was doing some random moves.
But because you didn't know it was Swapnil, you were like, okay, let me attack.
But he learned all these ideas right now, right? This rook e1, knight e5, all those things.
Yeah, first time today he saw.
Wow, beautiful. He's
So-
a very
so-
quick learner, yeah, Biswa. Very good.
Yeah, I just memorized. And then you played exactly the same move.
Yeah.
But it's the best line for black as well and white, so it's not like someone else may do something different. But let's go over the game, and Swapnil, if you can just suggest some good improvements for Biswa as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
I can
then-
go over it. Yeah.
1 second. Let me get the chessboard. Guys, in the chat, congrats to everyone who guessed that this was Swapnil. Especially one person was Arunava or Arunaba Bhattacharya or something. Some name I don't know exactly. Every time I was like 100% sure it's Swapnil. I don't know how. Maybe he knew Simandar 90 is Swapnil's ID. But he was very sure. Okay, so e4, c6. Just making the moves 1 second so that you can see. Yeah, e4, c6, d4, d5, and here Biswa took bishop d3. Sorry, knight c6, c3, knight f6, bishop f4, bishop g4, queen b3. All this was learnt, and now Swapnil played queen d7, which was slightly different from queen c8 that we had seen.
Right. Usually I used to play queen c8 before, but then I had a very bad experience because white used to get a very strong attack on the king side, just how you showed Biswa in the stream.
Mm.
So then I analyzed this line, and I figured out that maybe queen d7 is a better try, because first of all it is not as passive as queen c8, and secondly with queen d7 we get a chance to exchange the bishops, the dark squares bishop with bishop d6.
I had actually told Biswa that exchanging dark squared bishop is to his favor in general in this structure. So why are you so keen on exchanging it?
Yeah, that's right actually, because the bishop, if you compare both the bishops, then black's dark square bishop is slightly more preferable to white's. But
Mm.
yeah, after the exchanges, the position simplifies a bit, and I continue my attack on the queen side. And I feel that in this type of structures, if I go to the end game, if black goes to the end game, it is slightly favorable for black. Yeah. So
Yeah,
every exchange kind of, relieves my pressure on the king side.
true, true. So after e6, knight f3, you went bishop d6,
Yeah.
takes, queen takes, and I saw Biswa thinking a bit here कि अरे b7 का pawn मर रहा है, should I take it or not?
Yeah, but
I
then I
thought
saw
this,
rook b8, and then
I
I was
thought,
like,
okay. But I thought maybe you will go for this, yeah, because rook b8, queen a6. It is still not so easy.
yeah, but then this queen is like, I never take that b pawn because it's always
Biswa, we
like,
have already discussed this, yeah, that if it's an important pawn, you must take it.
it's not important pawn. This is dumb pawn. It just makes his rook active. And I achieve nothing. I lose two moves, and then I don't want to attack or take anything before I castle.
So you learned all these things from Sagar, yeah?
Yeah, this b pawn thing I've learned from Sagar only.
Great, great, great.
But here, Swapnil taking is not good, yeah, because after rook b8, queen a6, can black take here?
No, it cannot take immediately, because I think queen c8 check is uncomfortable. Also, things like bishop b5 or knight e5, yeah. So it's very difficult to take.
This pin with knight e5 coming up already
So I think
looks very.
white will win immediately. So first black has to castle here. So now we are threatening to take the pawn. And in fact, not even now. So if white castles here, I still cannot take on b2, because again bishop b5 is very uncomfortable. So yeah.
There is this pin,
Hmm.
and the knight cannot be moving. So if you defend this, this
Now,
is hanging.
yeah, rook is hanging, right.
So there is no way to defend this sort of knight here.
Yeah. So the correct move for black is to play rook b6 here.
First push the queen away.
The queen has only one square if he wants to defend the pawn. Otherwise, next move we take rook b2. So white has to play queen a3, and black takes queen into a3, b into a3, and white is a pawn up in this end game. But I think this is quite similar to one of the positions in your stream which you just showed, Biswa, where f into g6 is what black plays, right? And the e6 pawn becomes weak. So similarly here the c3 pawn is weak.
Yeah, so black is going to go rook c8, knight a5, and
Right.
just pile up on that pawn.
Right, and the double pawns on the a file, I mean that extra pawn is of no real value for white.
So that's why I didn't take on the.
So like ये सब देख लिया था मैंने. Yeah, so Biswa I think played the best move here, castles,
Yeah, and then castle.
and then you castle, and now rook f e1. I do not approve of this move.
Yeah, but even if rook a e1, I would anyways exchange on f3 and then play queen c7 next move.
By the way, Biswa, what Swapnil is doing is very high class play. Yeah? He knows that that bishop on g4 runs into trouble in this line. So the moment you get your rook on e1, let's say you played in the game fe1, but even if you play here, he's not wasting time with anything else because he knows knight e5 is coming. So he says, even if the knight is coming, I'll give up that bishop for the knight.
Yeah, we can quickly compare a variation where I play queen c7 directly instead of bishop f3. So let's say if I play queen c7 here, you go knight e5, and I want to take knight e5 because if you play f4, then I cannot take on e5 anymore, right? Because f into e5, you open up the f file.
Yeah.
So I have to take on e5 immediately, and after d5, knight d7, and now if white plays queen c2, attacking the pawn on h7, for example. Now whatever I play, let's say if I play something like h6 or something, you can have h3 and g4. So it creates some sort of problem for my bishop.
This bishop actually is in no man's land on
Mhm.
g4.
Yeah.
It feels so. That's why Swapnil, you actually said, I'll give it up for a knight.
Yeah, right.
Very smart. Very smart. So here, but still, rook a1 might be better than rook fe1, right?
Yeah,
Or
right. But the point is like after exchange on e5, it is like more or less equal. Yeah, but maybe if you compare, rook a1 looks more logical to me.
Biswa, my thinking is that when you will put your knight on e5 and then you will push your pawn on f4, then the rook on a1 will be doing nothing much, but the rook on f1 will do a lot. So that's why we can get the other rook.
Yeah, right.
Very interesting. I thought of this immediately after I played the rook actually. Like not the whole thing, but I thought maybe I should have played the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So rook fe1 and good move by Swapnil. Very interesting. Takes, and now you played the move queen c7, right?
Yeah.
And what should white do? Because the knight e5 seems. I also said, yeah, like looks like the most natural move in the
Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
It felt natural. Anything else can be done?
Maybe you can double on the e file, but at some point you have to play knight e5, and I'm going to take immediately. So it will lead to the same thing. Yeah. So even if you play knight e5 here, it doesn't make a big difference. You can play knight e5 here, knight into e5, d into e5, knight d7, and now f4 was a mistake.
Okay. So here till here everything is good, and so f4 is a mistake. So Biswa, why do you think f4 is a mistake? What is a better move? Do you think for white here?
Go back. Oh, f4. I played f4. Yeah, I should have
Yeah.
played queen c2.
Yeah, queen c2.
Array, very nice. Very quickly spotted.
No, I had seen this in the game only.
Then why you didn't go for it?
After I played f4, I saw it. That's all.
But Swapnil, what you would have done for queen c2, because knight e5, bishop h7 is in white's favor, right? The king
Yeah.
starts getting weak.
Yeah, it looks dangerous. Yeah, rook e3, rook swing on the h file. So maybe I would have played g6 here.
g6.
So
Okay.
g6, queen e2 or f4, whatever, and then the game goes on. Yeah, I focus on the queen side, and Biswa should try to attack on the king side.
So still there are some attacking chances because you have a bishop, and if the queen can jump over, sorry, not like this, but to h6 with the rook coming over to e3 and h3
Yeah.
could be dangerous.
Yeah, right. White. That's White's main strategy here. But also Black has some defensive ideas. For example, one thing is that he can move the f8 rook to c8 or something, and the knight is very well placed on f8, covering the weak squares over there. And another idea could be to play rook to e8 and break with f6 once White plays f4.
Okay.
So
And
that will create
also
some
white's
counterplay.
idea can be h4, h5 here.
Yeah, that is also one of the ideas, right?
I prefer playing queen e2 here than f4, because I think with f4 you kind of close the opportunity for the queen to sort of go from e3 to h6 or something like that, or nothing like that.
Yeah, queen e2 is I think preferable for sure because whenever you play f4, I will be very happy to break with f6 if possible.
Why is that?
Because f4 pawn also comes under pressure and it kind of becomes a target. Yeah.
So in the game, Biswa didn't go queen c2, he played f4, and now Swapnil had a chance to play knight c5.
Yeah, actually that was my original intention. I wanted to play knight c5 and exchange that bishop, but then I thought Biswa will still go on in his attacking style. So, so I thought maybe it's better to eliminate all the chances.
Biswa grandmasters are afraid of your attacking style, yeah?
Also, I think I saw some streams with you teaching him some Tal games. Yeah.
Yes. Amazing. By the way, Swapnil, I think Biswa, the thing we discussed before this as to why Caro Kann advanced variation is sometimes dangerous is this very position. Now you have space, but very less attacking chances because pieces are exchanged. So here black is very comfortable. your attacking chances are very less. But Swapnil decided to go queen b6, which was also interesting decision by him. Sorry, after
F4 is
f4,
there.
And as a rule
f4.
of thumb, endgames are preferable for black in general here in Caro Kann.
Okay.
So
Why
take.
though?
Sorry.
Why but?
Because first of all you have space, right? So you have gained space with the pawn on e5 and everything like e5 f4, and space is a very good a medium to attack maybe, but in the end game it becomes overextended many times, so it can
Got
become a
it.
weakness as well. So
Got it.
if you have more space, you should try to maintain pieces and try to create some sort of an attack. But if you have space and you keep on exchanging pieces, then in the end game those pawns can become weakness.
Yeah. Here
So
you took the pawn, right?
Yeah,
yeah, I
very
took with the pawn.
surprising decision for me as well. Why did you take with the pawn?
बेसिकली ओपनिंग द ए फाइल और वो रुक एट ऐसे बैठे बैठे गेम में आ गया सो इट लुक्स गुड एंड सेकंडली दिस ट्रिक्स ऑफ नाइट c5 नाइट b3 आई वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग Biswa to fall into this trick actually but
Biswa was good, yeah. Today he
yeah
didn't fall
yeah
for any tactics.
yeah
But how about here trying to be active and going for a move like f5?
yeah that is a possibility but even after f5 see, basically you don't have any attack on the king side, right? So
Yeah,
I can just play something
I,
like knight c5, keep focusing on the queen side, or I can play something like rook e8. So there are a lot of options for me.
mm,
The e5 pawn is, as I said earlier, that e5 pawn can become a weakness. Yeah, you have to always keep an eye on that pawn.
yeah, true. I mean, f5 was a interesting move because the bishop sort of opens up. In a way, in the game, you will see that the knight started dominating the bishop. Like Biswa went here, rook e3, which is misguided. Biswa, I think what you were trying to do is go for an attack. But here there will be no attack because with one rook and one bishop, he can just play h6 or g6 and block it, and you cannot put further pressure.
Got it.
So better here could have been to think of ideas like f5 or start preparing them with something like g4, f5, trying for the pawn sort of push.
Yeah, another interesting strategy could be that since you have the light square bishop here, you should try to put all your pieces on the dark squares. Yeah. So for example, all the pawns should be on the dark squares. Already you have two pawns e5 and f4. Other pawn should be a3, b2, c3, and the rook should be on e3 and d4. So
But
put
tell
all
me
the
one
pieces.
thing. You have a knight, right? So like whatever. If you had a bishop and I was putting my pawns on dark square, if you had a light square bishop, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But you have a knight, so like
Yeah,
it can attack any pawn.
no, basically it's not compared to the knight, it's just comparing to your own bishop. Yeah, if you have a light square bishop, you should try to put your pieces and pawns on the dark squares like this.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I start bringing my king to the middle here?
That is possible, but with both the rooks still on the board, it could be a bit shaky, yeah, because there could be some tricks here and there. So once the rook gets exchanged, then of course you can try to bring the king to d4.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, like here, king f2, e3, d4 might be very good square, but with the rooks, it comes under some attack.
Yeah.
Here, I think Biswa went rook e3, and then Swapnil played the move knight to c5. And here I said to the chat that Biswa is going to miss knight b3 trick because then the rook will have to move and Swapnil will win a pawn. But when Biswa played bishop c2, I was impressed. Yeah, well
Yeah,
done.
because when we solve tactics and all, it is quite easy to see tactics from your side, yeah, attacking tactics or something, some winning tactics, but defending tactics, that is a completely different game, yeah. So
Yeah.
kudos to Biswa to spot this thing.
Friends, let me tell you, I did not spot this.
Oh my god.
I don't know why I played this. Please give me a second to recollect. I don't. Hold on.
Biswa is the ultimate truthful man. He
Okay.
could have taken all the praises and be like, "Oh, arre, thank you guys, thank you." He's like, "No, I didn't spot it."
I played this. I had some other idea. Hold on.
I think you wanted to control a4 square for the knight. Knight
Yeah.
coming to a4.
No, I don't care. Okay, I'll tell you what I was trying. Okay. I was still attacking h7.
Oh my god.
And I was like, I don't want to exchange my bishop.
Okay. And maintain the bishop on the diagonal, yeah. Hopefully some attack somewhere.
Yeah. Then I had if I take to b1, then my rook was getting blocked, and the bishop is dying everywhere else. And I didn't want to take it to the other diagonal, so I just moved it here.
Sagar, we can reach the right move for some other reasons as well. That's the beauty of chess, yeah.
That is true. That is true. Here Swapnil went G6. He was like, "अरे बिस्वा का F5 stop कर देते हैं."
Yeah.
He stopped it, and then Biswa, tell me about the move B4. Do you like it or do you not like it after the game? Now, what has happened in the game? Would you still play B4 in such a position again, or would you be like, no, that doesn't look great?
I actually would try to find a better move because there's a no. Hold on. Okay, so my idea was that if I do b4, then this knight has to come to e4, and then I win a pawn, okay, by exchanging the bishop.
You didn't
Okay.
see that knight can come to a4.
Yeah, why? And even if it goes to a4, I thought that's just a bad square for the knight.
Yeah, the knight is on the ream, yeah, on the side.
Yeah, I felt that's a bad square. So, and it also blocks his rook only. So I thought maybe this is not bad, but
But
but it weakens my
what?
queen side.
Remember, every pawn push creates a weakness, and here the biggest weakness in this position is the b3 square. Yes?
Yeah.
Don't say yeah.
Hey, sorry, what? No, I thought b3. It's not b3 square.
Bisa, half of the class is like, yeah, yes.
Very obedient student, yeah.
Sorry, hold on.
What is the biggest weakness in the position?
Okay, a3 is a weakness.
Yes, because you push the pawn.
Sorry, c3 is the biggest.
C3, C3.
Absolutely. C3 becomes horribly weak on an open file. That's why I think Swapnil, you would have been very pleased after b4.
Yeah, b4 is yeah, very pleasing to see. And also, Biswa, even if I don't have knight a4, even if I just go back knight d7, the c3 pawn is always a big weakness for you.
Got it.
Yeah.
A backward pawn and on an open file is like a patient who cannot walk. It requires constant care. You have to bring all your pieces to constantly keep caring for it. So here knight a4. Now Biswa went rook f1, and now rook c8 attacking c3. Now you see how you have to care. Two huge rooks, 10 points are taking care of this little pawn. And Swapnil, of course, spotted this move, d4. Very nice move. Rook d3, and now takes the pawn. You can't take it once again. I think Biswa played a good move, bishop b3, because if you take on d4, there is this fork on e2.
Yeah, severe fork.
Severe fork. And so here bishop b3. And now again Swapnil played a very interesting move. Knight e2 check, king f2, knight c1, attacking these two guys. And Biswa, why you didn't take here?
1 second. Let me tell you, friends. I spotted the fork after I had played the. I didn't.
After you said.
Yeah, I was very glad that I
Today,
played the
Biswa, is there something where you need luck or something today? Today is the day. You have bypassed at least 3 very critical lines
Yeah.
for blundering. So, why you didn't take the pawn here on d4?
You know me. I don't like pawns. I think they're a waste of time to take, so that's why I didn't take.
Yeah, but in the end game, they are important. Here, Swapnil, what would you have done?
Yeah, knight b3, rook a2, and rook c2. That was the idea.
Yeah, and somehow black gets tremendous play here with the 2 double pawns, 2 double rooks on the 7th rank.
Yeah.
So Biswa played rook d2, once again impressive move, but the reason was again not because he saw that Swapnil is coming on the 7th rank. He was like, I don't want the pawn. So rook d2.
No, rook d2 I calculated and played.
This time you calculated.
Not to stop him or anything, but I was adding extra protection to that a2 pawn for some reason, I think.
Biswa is a very, if you think about your thinking, is very funny. You don't want to take opponent's pawns, but your pawns you want to keep on protecting. So
the problem is once he enters, he comes with a check, and then there's big problem.
So I think Biswa is afraid of checks, maybe.
Yeah, but that once that rook comes,
Then it becomes uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, very unplayable it becomes.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay, rook d2, d3, and now again king e3 is interesting. Swapnil comes in, rook c3, and now you played h4, yeah? Here.
Yeah, just time was running out, and I was like, there is nothing to do
It was,
there.
I think it was a decent move in this not so great position. Take on b3.
Maybe
No,
I should have
because
played king e4, right? Here
Instead of
only.
h4.
Yeah.
Yeah, king
yeah,
e4. Still, I'll play
and
rook d8. I think.
What about king d4?
King d4, rook c8. Also, king d4. I can take on
King d8
b3.
also.
Knight b3 check. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
because if you take the rook, then knight takes d2
And rook a2 check.
and rook takes a2.
And rook takes c2.
So Biswa went h4, rook d8, king
Okay.
e4,
Okay.
and then knight takes b3, a b3, rook b3. Here finally Swapnil had seen it that rook exchange. I think this is a pawn endgame which is lost. He took with the pawn, I think,
Yeah.
here. But
Yeah,
then,
that was a mistake.
no, I think in general it's beyond salvation, this position. So,
Wow, man. Like
but
this.
Biswa, did you ever think that you will give such a decent fight to a grandmaster? It's really commendable.
I don't think it was a decent fight, but yes.
It was a good fight. Yeah, I
Well
mean,
played, Biswa.
Swapnil,
Yeah.
you had to think a bit at
Yeah.
least
Right. Right.
to
He was.
win.
I thought he will fall very easily after getting that minus position, but he kept on defending.
Amazing.
If
Do
I
Amazing.
knew
all
that,
comedians think in this way, or is it only Biswa
Uh,
fighting?
I think Biswa is one of the strongest in the comedians. So there
Ah.
is Samay who is very good, Vaibhav who is very good, Anirban who is improving quite well. There is Abhishek Upmanyu who is around 15, 1600 that strength. So all these players are close to 1600 strength.
Mhm.
But Biswa, I think, has fallen in love with chess at a
Okay.
different
Okay.
level.
Yeah.
What was that statement of Kasparov, Biswa, you were saying?
oh man, the Kasparov said, no, one lifetime is not enough to fully understand chess. That's not a problem of chess, that's a problem of life. Man, yesterday whole day I had to go looking for houses, and I was like, "Ye kya? Why I have to waste one whole day?" And then I came back lost to play two games and I lost. And I was like,
Oh.
what's the point of a house if you sit in the house and lose in chess? What's the point?
Or Biswa for 1 second did not think, what is the point of chess if you have no house?
Great,
Yeah, I
Biswa. Hope
mean,
to see you in some tournament on the board. Yeah.
yeah, I'll come. I'll come on the board.
Great.
But honestly, if I knew it was a grandmaster or something, I would have played very differently and lost very quickly.
Yeah.
No, this is a great learning for you, Biswa, that opponent doesn't matter. It's only the moves that matter on the board. If you play good moves, you can beat anyone.
Yeah, also another factor that helped me is Sagar's. You played the opening exactly as Sagar taught.
Yeah.
The problem is people in 1500, 1600 category make mistakes in openings, and then I don't know how to punish those openings. And then like the you have to know so many lines in one theory.
Yeah. This is what we learn with experience. We make mistakes and then we learn from the mistakes and we keep improving. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Aj, we laid a foundation to your repertoire against Caro Kann. Now we
Yes.
will play some games
Yeah.
trying to follow this, and then you will be like, oh, my opponent played this, I didn't understand. Then we fine tune it further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, there is a video on Chessbase India where Swapnil teaches Caro Kann from black side. Anyone interested in that, please check it out. He also has a course on his website where you can buy it and learn Caro Kann in depth. I think, Swapnil, that is what, close to some 20-30 hours course.
Yeah. It's 15 chapters actually.
15
So yeah,
chapters.
it's huge amount of
It's a
material.
huge amount of
And
material.
also there are PDF files. Yeah. So they can play the variations of the board as well.
Okay, brilliant. And I have also put in Swapnil's YouTube channel link in the description, Chess Pathshala. So you can check it out. Swapnil, one of India's top trainers. By the way, Biswa, he was the coach of the Indian Asian women's team that had won. There was Harika, Padmini, all of them in the team. They had won a gold, a silver, and a bronze, right? So
Yeah,
three
correct.
medals, and he was the coach of the team. So
Yeah, I was watching the match and he was doing commentary also.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, he was a. So thank you so much, Swapnil, for your time. By the way, guys, he's writing a new book right now on chess. So thanks a lot for finding time to play.
Thank you, Sagar. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you, Swapnil.
Biswa. It was nice playing you. Nice
It's
meeting
a,
you.
it was an honor playing with you, Swapnil.
Okay.
It's
Bye
too
bye.
good.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
सागर भाई अपना ट्रेनिंग नेक्स्ट लेवल पे चला गया अभी.
Biswa का डायलॉग, बेस्ट डायलॉग ऑफ टुडे वाज बिस्वा आफ्टर द गेम. ओपोनेंट ज्यादा स्ट्रांग नहीं था, मेरे जितना ही था.
No, I thought that because I went till the end game, right? So I was like,
No, but that's what a good opening play gives you a foundation that even when you play strong players, you can hold them pretty well. And I think in the game analysis, you could sense that you had your chances also if you wouldn't have played it lightly. But
the
yeah,
thing is with grandmasters are very strong players. No, they don't let you even make like small mistakes. So the moment you make a small mistake, they find a way to take initiative and
Yes.
then find rupturing your position. Even with Gukesh, that happened.
Yes.
So you actually like the difference with playing with somebody at my level or and somebody with a grandmaster level. I've realized is it a grandmaster level, you actually get no chances. Like they just make sure you have no chances somehow with the way they play.
but this is a bad thought process, yeah, because I know a lot of 2000 plus players who have to face grandmasters once or twice in a tournament, and they have this thinking that grandmasters can make no mistakes and they never can beat a G. Grandmasters make mistakes, they have their off days, but it's just that we can, right now, you are not capable of finding them. At some point, you will be.
Yeah, but
So,
if like say Devin or somebody like Rajnikant, the thing is both sides get chances, right? Because
yes.
they're like the games are very different in nature, where you are doing some attack, he is doing some attack, so it's the experiences are completely different.
Yeah,
But
true.
yeah, this was suffocatingly but amazing game. Love it.
I knew that if I didn't tell you are playing Swapnil, you would play much better than if I told you. So that is something to work on.
Okay, Sagar bhai,
Yeah.
businessman. Chalo, see you.
See you. Bye, Biswa, and take care. We have 5 more positions. We'll do it in the next stream.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
See you.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's session. It was intense with first Biswa trying to solve positions, which he did well, by the way. I think he did it very interestingly with all the options he looked at for both sides. Did a very commendable job. He was slow nonetheless, but accurate. I think speed is something we have to work on. So that will be one of the biggest focus. The second thing we did was we learnt an opening from white side against Caro Kann, which I think give him an idea as to how to play with white. And then he played against a mystery opponent whom he didn't know, who played the same line, sort of the main line in that exchange, Caro Kann. And Biswa was very confident. He was playing quickly. But of course, he was Swapnil Dopade, who is not just a GM, but also a very, very big Caro Kann expert. So you can see how Swapnil actually managed to be very accurate in the opening. These are all preparation. As he said that he had studied this opening and found that this bishop on g4 is not very valuable, and he so instantly took it. This is something you learn after years of experience. It doesn't come like overnight. And today here he showed how a grandmaster prepares the opening, how he plays it. So I believe it was a very nice session, a lot to learn from it, and I hope that you too learned from it. Please do like Swapnil's channel. The link is in the description, and also make sure to check out his video on the Caro Kann on Chessbase India if you want to learn it from black. Okay. Until then, take care, guys. Do like the stream, and hope that I'll see you again later today. There's a midnight chess stream for sure, and Amruta may also come on air at some point. So take care. Until then, bye bye. I can raid Chessbase India Hindi. Ooh, thank you for reminding me. Let's do that, shall we? Shall we do that? And I missed couple of super chats. Sorry, let me read that. Spidey Spider-Man says, I am on 1630, but this game changed my thinking that how to defend and attack more. Thank you, Spidey. Sai Bhargava says, Biswa can't get over what he said after the match. Yeah, I agree. Gaurav Datta says, अगली बार description में guest hint मत रखना. Gaurav Datta, I put it after Swapnil arrived. I mean, after the game ended. So I was very smart. I had not put it before. Chandramouli Chakraborty said he could. Yeah, I have read this. Roshan K says, how is the Pano Botvinnik attack with C4 to play against Caro Kann exchange? You first exchange. So basically, you take ED, CD in this position here. And then Bishop D3 is what I suggested to Biswa. The other main move is C4, which is called Pano Botvinnik, and I would also recommend this. It's a very aggressive way to play because whenever black takes on C4, white is accepting an isolated pawn on D4 and playing. So that is the reason why I would suggest that if you're going to play this, study it well. It's a very good system along with Bishop D3. Both are good to play. Ayan Joshi says, Sagar bhai, koi patience aapse seekhe. Arey, what's that? I think a lot of good teachers have to be patient. Sarang Gupta says, look at the beauty of the last puzzle and in the game general, the bishop can go nowhere else other than giving the check. Yes. I agree that rook f3 and bishop f1. Correct. Vasu Avasti says, hello Sagar sir, pinged you on Instagram just now. Can you please check once you get time? Sure. Thank you, Arshab, for your super chat. Let's raid Chessbase India Hindi before ending this stream, shall we? There, Niklesh is doing some brilliant work with Sumit Gaurav, teaching him some excellent things. So,
हाँ मतलब रुक लिया ना, रुक लिया तो फिर मैं H7 चल दूंगा.
यस, बहुत बढ़िया. और उसके बाद उसको वो रुक G7 मारेगा तो आपका H8 पे क्वीन बन जाएगा. बहुत बढ़िया सुमित भाई, बहुत बढ़िया. तो यहाँ पे खेलेंगे H6, अपोनेंट को मारेगा और ये पॉन H6. तो ये याद रखिए कि फिलहाल ये जो दो पॉन है इनकी वैल्यू मिला के 10 पॉइंट के आसपास है भाई. और अपोनेंट ये पॉन मारेगा और आप यहाँ बना लोगे क्वीन. और इसके बाद ये एंड गेम जो है वो बस आपको धीरे धीरे इम्प्रूव करना है. कहीं ना कहीं उसका रुक जो है वो मरेगा चेक में. जैसे जैसे आप किंग को पास लाओगे, क्वीन को दूर रखते हुए चेक देते रहना और ये पोजीशन जो है ये विनिंग पोजीशन आ जाएगी. तो बहुत बढ़िया सुमित भाई, बहुत बढ़िया. आज आप टैक्टिक्स भी बहुत अच्छे कर रहे हो. एक आध और हो जाए फिर तो आज आपको सही दिख रहा है और आपने कल टैक्टिक्स की भी नहीं है. ठीक है,
ठीक.
फिर अगर अपन आगे बढ़ेंगे. बहुत बढ़िया टैक्टिक्स सॉल्व किया आपने. ओके, वाइट टू मूव एंड विन. यहाँ पे अपोनेंट ने रुक अभी जो है उसने एक पीस मारा है एक्चुअली, नीचे आके कुछ ना कुछ मारा है वहाँ पे. तो अगर आप सिंपल मारने जाते हो तो वो सिंपल पोजीशन रहेगी. तो डेफिनेटली यहाँ पे कुछ इंटरमीडिएट मूव होगा. यहाँ पे एक इंटरमीडिएट मूव आएगा और वो आ रहा है.
रुक B3 क्वीन मूव.
तो अगर आप इंटरमीडिएट मूव ढूंढ लोगे तो वो पीस फ्री में मिल गया आपको. तो ये आज देखिए, आज आप देखिए, आज आपने इंटरमीडिएट मूव पढ़ा है और आज इंटरमीडिएट मूव बोर्ड पे बार बार आ भी रहा है आपके. सागर भाई ने रेट किया है. थैंक यू सागर भाई, थैंक यू सो मच आपके सपोर्ट के लिए. और आई होप कि हम लोग यूं ही जो है अच्छी तैयारी कराते रहेंगे. एक आध दिन फिर से सागर भाई को लाना है. सुमित भाई की ट्रेनिंग कैसी हो गई ये भी चेक करना है. तो हमारे समय भाई को हराने के लिए हम लोग पूरी तरह से तैयारी कर रहे हैं. 19 तारीख को मैच अच्छा होगा भाई.
बढ़िया, बस वही चाहिए.
थैंक यू एवरीवन. थैंक यू सागर भाई. हाँ सुमित भाई, इंटरमीडिएट मूव एक बार फिर से बोर्ड पर.
सी यू गाइस.
थैंक
यू फॉर रेडिंग.
परफेक्ट. रुक
B3. He found it.
और देखो क्या हुआ इससे.
Amazing. Guys, thank you so much for raiding this, and I'll see you guys later today, and bye bye. Take care.